This episode is inspired. Damien, Mike, this one's for you. Hi, everybody. Kevin Barheit here. Thanks for tuning in. Damien and Mike are two folks that are really close with me, and because we're in COVID time, I've been doing a lot of chatting with people on Zoom. I've been using my laptop, my MacBook Pro, and a lot of times we'll be talking to each other, and then I won't even notice it. But the lights will dim just a little bit. The clarity of maybe talking to Damien or talking to Mike is clear. I can hear what they're saying. I can see their faces, but maybe the look in their eye isn't really clear. Maybe when they smile, it's not as bright. And maybe I'm wondering, if I can't see them clearly, can they see me clearly? Now, what's actually happened, and it happens all the time over and over again, is that I'll use the same power that I use for my computer to plug in on my phone. It's a USB-C, they work the same way. But the important thing is that when I take that power and pull it out of my Mac and plug it into my phone, all of a sudden the power saver on the Mac dims the lights just a little bit. Just enough so that all of a sudden it seems like the lighting in the room has gone down. And if I'm looking at them, it looks like even though they're sitting outside, like Mike, you and I were just talking, and Mike was sitting outside in his backyard, and the light was bright and the sun was shining, but all of a sudden I was like, oh, geez, is he in the shade? Did a cloud go by? And what about my room? So I'll go and I'll flip and I'll look at my room and I'll say, gosh, is it really that dark in here? Is it that dimly lit in the studio? Because I was right over there at my chair at my desk. And what I recognize is no, this is just a change in the power. A change in the relationship I have with the person that I'm trying to reach out to. And this is such a common thing that I do now that I don't even notice it all the time. But yesterday, while Damien and I were chatting, and again today, while Mike and I were chatting, I really noticed that change. Eventually, it took a while for me to recognize that I felt like I was trying to make this connection, but somehow it was just a little bit dimly lit. Somehow it just seemed like I was looking through a little bit of a scrim, like I couldn't really connect in that way. So all I really needed to do was plug the power back in, but even after I plugged the power in, I needed to reach over, check the settings, and bring the brightness back up. And once I did that, it was like a breath of fresh air. And through both of those conversations yesterday and today, the three of us had a real opportunity to understand and to think about and to bring it from here to here, and to really experience the understanding of what it means to be connected to a power greater than ourselves, and how it doesn't even matter. It doesn't matter if we call our higher power God, if it's Buddha, if it's Allah, if it's a MacBook Pro connector. If your USB-C is your power, then plug in your power. The important thing is that we have access to that power. The important thing is that Mike and Damien and I, in our conversations, recognize that even if it's just each other, even if the power in the room is just the two of us talking to each other, lifting each other up, that brings up the brightness in the room. That brings up the energy in the room. And it makes us more available to each other, to support each other, to encourage each other, to bring each other along the way on this journey together. 2 minutes ago, I got off the call with Mike. And he said, you got to do this. You got to do this. You got to put this in the next video or a video in the future. And here I am. I wanted to make sure that the power, the energy, the spiritual essence of what Mike and I just experienced was here. And it is. And it's not the USB for me. It's a relationship with a power greater than myself. And for me, that relationship with a power greater than myself manifests in my morning prayers. It manifests in the time that I spend meditating in silence and contemplation. It manifests in the readings, some of the spiritual readings I do every day. But mostly, more than anything else, it not only manifests, but it shows the fruit of that relationship in the time I spend with Mike, in the time that I spend with Damien, in the time that I spend with you here, in the time that I spend with my wife and my children and all the people that I love in my life. And even the people that I might not love so much. When I know that I have the ability to connect with and access and be connected to a power greater than myself, the real important thing is not that I have a specific power greater than myself, but it's to recognize I am not that power greater than myself. The important thing is to recognize I got to plug in. I got to have that power. I got to have that juice. I got to have that extra light in the room to bring up the dimness so that I can see my higher power clearly in other people. And just as importantly, so other people can see my higher power in me. Thanks so much for your time today. Thanks for tuning in. Thank you, Mike. Thank you, Damien. And thank you, everyone that's connected with me here, that's connected with me spiritually, that's connected with me through the growth and the recovery and the community that we have. It means the world to me. Please make sure to like this video. Please share it with others. Please comment down below. And if you haven't subscribed, subscribe. Can't wait to see you next week. Take care.